second layer. I'm going to dry this quickly first, so I'm just going with a little bit of heat here. And dry it. Then when you're using it thin like that, it dries pretty quickly, so only needs just a little bit of heat. And it's heat stable, so it'll heat set perfectly fine without bubbling up, which is really nice. That was one thing that I was like, I went to the chemist and I was like, this needs to be heat stable because I'm too impatient to be sitting and waiting for it to dry. And then we'll go in with the second layer. Take it down.
Appena riesco mi avvicino.
And I love this stencil because it like layers those parts together really fun. So you could use just one of the layers if you want to, or you could use them together to create this more like filled-in background. I'll take that same blending sponge. Again, only fill it with a little bit of paste, and then we'll go right through and blend that in. And just gently blend it through that stencil.
I'm sorry, are you using the lunar paste?
Yep.
Okay, so I missed the beginning.
Yeah, no problem. So then we'll go through. Now when you're using this, you want to get those like, you want to make sure to get all the points and the hearts, so just kind of like dab it down into there to get all those details. And if you want it to be more opaque too, you can sort of layer it up too, so once this dries you can go back in with another layer if you want to. Just do the one layer of each one. And some colors are naturally more opaque than others, so you'll get different kind of variations depending on which colors you use. And then you lift it off, you get that really beautiful heart design in there. And then we'll heat set this to let it dry, because once it dries it becomes even more shiny, so it'll gain a little bit more shine once it's completely dry. Let's heat it a little bit.
Non so se questa lo chiudo.
And there you have that finished result. There's tons of shine in there, which I really love. And this is just great background for me. I did say I love that layering design. Now, if you want to, there's also other ways you can apply this. So if you're doing this at home, you'll want to wash that out. So just take that sponge off of the tool and you'll just wipe it off with water. And that way, it's not going to, if you leave it like this, it'll dry in there and get kind of crusty.
Okay.
Then I'm going to take another piece of cardstock and show you just a different way to apply it. So there was a little bit thinner. You don't get as, you get still quite a bit of color, but not as intense as if you were to apply it just straight on. So I'll just go straight through the steps here. And here I'm just going to do one layer. I'll go in with, let's see every color. Let's do this. This pink color called Rosy Cheeks. I like it because it's nice and light, so it'll look a little different than what we just did. I'll take quite a bit of it. When I apply it onto the surface like this, I just like to use quite a bit of the paste. We'll put it back into the jar at the end. Then I'll go in with the scraper tool. So this comes in the paste tool set. There's 2 scrapers in there and a palette knife as well. So it gives you all the tools you need in order to do this stenciling. And then when you're doing the stenciling, if you notice that it's hard to kind of swipe all the paste down, you'll still have more paste on this tool. So what you need to do is just kind of lay this at a flatter angle, and they'll distribute that paste onto the surface. So you can get all those areas covered really easily, and then to smooth it out, you'll go more of an upward angle, and scrape it off. So super easy to do that whole background using the scraper and the paste tool set, and then all you need to do is take any of the excess and put it right back in. So it's really quite easy to do that.
Doesn't the product go under the stencil?
Does it go underneath the stencil?
It doesn't go under
underneath?
the exceed.
Let's see.
Okay, it doesn't happen to you. It doesn't happen to me all the time.
What happens to you? So when you're doing with the scraper tool, just try not to. Sometimes I find if I like press too hard, or
I probably press too hard,
then it might, like,
and the product is squeezed out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would probably just say like do it kind of lighter,
Okay.
lighter pressure, and then it won't push.
Because you put a lot of product, and if I do put a lot of product, I probably apply too much pressure, because it goes under the stencil, and your design is so neat
Yeah, it's so
and crisp Mine definitely isn't.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's one of the things. So when I was talking to the cup sweater, I wanted it to be thin enough so that it didn't go underneath the stencil. But yeah, I do find that I've seen some videos of some people using it, and like I think the biggest thing is when you're doing it. Yeah, I apply a lot, so I don't have to work the stencil too much. I'll just like scrape it once or twice. The more you kind of like try to press it in there and try to get it work it. I think that's enough squeeze underneath.
Okay, that's probably the trick.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll let this stuff off to the side for dry. I'll go in here, and I'm just going to scrape it or pull off the tape.
Mi sentite? Sentite bene?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. All right, I'm going to go with a little bit of water to clean it up.
Ok. Forse non ci sono i commenti, non lo so. Guardate che bellezza, queste sono le Lunar Paste. Ok.
Yeah. All right.
Mm.
And like when I clean, the more water, the better. So yeah, I definitely gotta get a container of water to set these into.
I suoi prodotti sono acquistabili, sì sì. Lui vende attraverso i brand che lo supportano e non direttamente. Siamo in diretta da Francoforte.
All right.
Ok.
So then let's go in with a little bit of the stamping foam and work with this. So this is the Simon Hurley crayon stamping foam that comes in a pack of 4. So you get lots of pieces in here. I've already used a couple of them, but so I'll show you what this works with. I'm going to grab out a couple more stamps. Let's see. Got a lot of stamps here. You know what? I'm going to grab a clear stamp.
Yeah.
All right. So this one's from our new release.
Yes.
This is called Beautiful Blooms. It just came out. I love these florals so much because they've got so much detail to them, so they're really pretty. They're going to be great for spring and Valentine's Day cards. We got a lot of different sentiments you can use all year round too. So let's pull this out. You can use the stamping foam with any sort of texture that you have around your house or like sweaters or things like that. So I've been loving the stamping foam for everything like that. Now I'm going to go in with, let's see this one. And that with the names of flowers. So I don't know what any of these are called, but we're going in with this flower here.
I cannot help you there. I recognize the lily, and that's probably the only one.
I think this one might be a rose.
Oh, that's a rose. That's a hydrangea.
Something like a dahlia.
Oh, dahlia, brilliant.
Right, yeah. Good job. I was like,
always not good at names from flowers or anything.
Yeah, I have no idea. So I'm going to set it down on my surface so that it's spaced out. You could also use an acrylic block if you want to stamp more into it. Which actually, no, I'm going to stamp it with an acrylic block.
Okay.
Because I've actually decided that I'm going to create a little scene for you guys.
Okay.
That'll look better. So let me go in here. I'll make the flowers kind of coming in off the edge there. That's cool. And then let's go in with, there's a lot of butterflies in this set too, which I think could be pretty with this. Let's go with this butterfly. It looks like it's supposed to land onto a flower.
Yes.
And then I'm going to do it this way. Lay that down. And then have this butterfly like, kind of coming into it like that. That's a pretty little scene. I like that. Now with sentiments, you don't want to do sentiments because that's going to
reverse them.
So then I'm going to go with the acrylic block.
Okay.
This one is our Simon Hurley acrylic block. We sized it like perfectly for just a little bit bigger than the stamping foam.
Okay.
So you can build your scene on here and have it pretty much fit on there identically. Alright, so get your texture ready. I like to always have it in hand. Because sometimes people will heat it up and then go like do their laundry and expect still the still work in there, but you always want like to do it really quickly so you get the
I
best.
didn't think the clear stamps were thick enough to impress the texture
Oh
on
yeah,
that.
totally. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know.
You
That's a
can,
great tip.
Yeah, any texture really, even stencils, but they're super thin. They
Oh,
still get
really?
really great texture. Yeah.
I never tried the stencils.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a great tip.
Yeah, I'll lay it down onto the surface and then I'll save into the stencil on my
Into
flat
the
surface.
stencil. Okay.
Yep. Rather than, because otherwise it's hard to push the stencil into there. But something like this, you can push right into it and you get that really great impression.
Oh my God.
Tons of detail in there.
Okay, definitely does stamp on it.
Yeah, totally. Yep. So you get lots of
Look
little
at
detail.
that.
The cool part about these floral images is just how much detail is in there, which I really love. It's so pretty. And then I'm going to go in and color this in.
Okay.
When I'm coloring these in, I'll use these little detail blending tools from Ranger.
Yes.
These are really great because they're double-sided little sponges and they're so tiny, so they're able to really fit into these small areas. And also, I can use the larger blending tool on some. So like this one. I'm going to blend a little bit of shooting star onto there. And then, let's see. I'm going to move that. So wet. I'm going to, otherwise, shove my hand into it. And I'll go into, let's see, there's more. Let's see, I'll do this and this. So let's go with another yellow color. Blend it into there. This one's more mustardy. So it'll get kind of a little bit of shading and depth to it. I'll just throw that around in some areas. No real rhyme or reason. I just like to add several different colors to really give it some depth. So I'll go with a little bit more. Put that right in the center.
Oh, look at
Here I'm
that.
using a little bit of a lighter pressure just to kind of hit the raised areas.
Yep.
So when you're applying color, it's all about pressure. Because if you add a lighter pressure, then you're going to just get it on the raised surfaces. If you add a harder pressure, you're going to get it down deep into the image. So it just depends on what kind of look you want.
Okay.
And if you get a result you don't like, then maybe try like lighter pressure or kind of change some things up and you'll get a different effect. I love this Viper color for the least, so I'll go with Viper, which is this olive tone. It's really pretty. And so like coloring in like this takes a little bit of time, but I really like it. I feel like it's kind of fun and it gives you a unique kind of hand stamped effect. Whereas if you just stamp this in, you get a really crisp line, and you can of course watercolor it or whatever, but this gives kind of a really different look. I'm going to go with big pen to add some depth. So you can see that adds some shading up. If you do too much, use your finger to kind of wipe something off and take it back a little bit.
Can you use a baby white to to move the color?
Yeah, water. You can use a little bit of water on
Okay.
the sponge too. Alright, then I'll go in with a little bit of yellow up here too.
Yes.
Like butterfly. Pretty. Alright, then I'll go in with let's see, let's do some a little bit of red.
Okay.
Again, you can use your finger to blend it out, or you could use a sponge to kind of blend it out a little bit more. Cool. And then I'm going to do the background now too. So let's do a little bit of blue. And you know what? Let's do something different. I'm going to go in on the background and I'll use like polka dots.
Oh.
So we'll go in first with a little bit of blue right away. Cool. You've already got one.
You're building up the panel of the card. Like you're building up the panel of the card. This is going to be the panel of the card completed with all of the background, and then you're building it up over there.
You can build it all up on this, which is cool. I'm going to go in this color. Alright. So I'm going to go with a little bit of clear skies. There we go. And I'm just going to go in as much as I can with this larger blending tool and kind of blend it out. Use kind of the edge of it to get into some smaller spaces, or you could switch to the smaller blending tool. Alright. Blending it out. Alright. Now I'm going to try something that I've never tried before, so you guys get to see it live. I'm going to go in with the stencil right on top of it, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'll use a darker color. So here I'll use a little bit of no diving, and I'll just go in on top and like blend these polka dots in, because it'll just add a little bit of texture to the background and add a little bit more interest. Now we didn't stamp this in, so the texture will just be an ink.
Okay.
But I think it'll be really cool. Hopefully. If not, you guys are going to see a mistake. Oh, yeah, there you go. So you can see a lot of those little polka dots.
It's beautiful.
And this is called the polka dot assortment stencil. It's a layering stencil with 4 different sizes of polka dots, so you can layer them together and stuff, which is really cool. And they're very versatile. I'm going to go in with just a sort of cardstock. That's got some ink on it. So
I'm so glad it happens to you too.
Oh, for sure. And I'll just spray this down with a couple mists of water that helps transfer the ink a little bit. Right onto the surface. Give some good pressure to stamp it down. And there we go.
Oh.
Get a really cool kind of like hand stamps.
Guardate che bello. That's beautiful.
Yeah, so it gives a really different look than just stamping it, right? Because you would have like a really solid.
You're melting the layers in just one.
And if I'm melding it, it looks like hand stamps that you made like carbon. So I think it's really cool. And it's kind of cool to be able to build scenes with the clear stamps. And then once you're done with this, you can leave the design in there for as long as you want. So
Of course.
some customers like leave it in there for a ton because they really love that design. I have a couple of Christmas ones that I've kept because I really like them too. But if you're done with it, you can go in. The ink's clean off really well with water, so I'll just go in and please this.
Oh, look, it comes back as new.
Yeah, it comes right back as new, and then you can go back in.
Warming up.
This, and you should re-flatten the phone up so you can keep using it in different designs over and over and over. So if you want to save the unique design in here again, all you need to do is heat it back up, and it's going to flatten, and then you can keep reusing it, which I love. It comes 4 in a pack, so and it's at a really great price point. So it's kind of a no-brainer too to be able to kind of keep reusing it like this and flip it over.
Of course.
And I love about it too is I've used it in like sweaters and like pillows. So if you have textures and things that you love around your house.
Well, using it with fabric is really clever because just very little texture stamps, and once you have it in your hands, it's going to be really handy just to press it over there.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
cool.
I'm going to even show you this.
That texture.
So, paper towel. Now you would think like, oh, the paper towel is really thin, you're not going to get anything from it. But it's got this really cool dotted texture in here, so I'm just going to go in and keep that bed.
How do you recognize when it's ready to go? How do you know when it's ready?
It's about 10-15 seconds.
Okay, so
like,
it's quick.
That's usually the time frame. Yeah, it's pretty quick. And then if you don't get a good design, you can always reheat it and retry. So you kind of learn too, like when it's ready. There's no specific real look to it when it is.
Okay.
And when I lift it off, check it out. It's super cool. You
That's
get, like,
brilliant, and it's paper towel. I can't believe
and
it.
it's so thin too, so don't judge the texture just by like how thick it is, because then you can go in. We'll bring in a couple different colors. I'll use a little bit of bee sting first.
La carta
And
dello
when you
stop.
ink this, I tend to not stamp like this because you don't get the best inking. I'll take the ink and I'll swipe it onto the surface,
Okay.
and you'll get a really beautiful, solid, transparent color. And then I'll go in with a little bit of prompt weed. Blend those two colors together by using the edge of the ink pad. Really cool. And then we'll use a little bit of citric red. And I'll just blend that right into each other.
Guardate che meraviglia.
And again, to transfer it, I'll just mist it with a little bit of water. And then I'll stamp it right down onto the surface. And then check that out. So you get like tons of texture with it.
It's paper towel. I can't
Yeah,
believe
it's
that.
insane.
It's always a matter of looking at things with brand new eyes.
Right, yeah. And like, I have videos
Not
like
everybody
this.
can do that, so it's
Yeah.
thank
It's super
you.
cool. I have like candles on the house and I've like rolled the candle into it. So you can really go around and like look at different textures that you have around your house and like find different things that are going to be really cool for stamping.
It's really cool. Oh my god.
Yeah, you can use like dyes and embossed folders and stuff like that. So lots of textures that you wouldn't be able to use with stamp now are like a new stamp, which is really cool.
And you can change it every time.
Yeah, you can keep
That's
changing it.
brilliant.
Same piece at home.
It's brilliant.
Thanks. dry this down. Get it off with just a little bit of water.
C'è lo Scottex, esatto. Sono qua che raccolgo la mascella, lo Scottex.
Oh, of
Io
course,
sono,
yeah, there's
mm,
nothing.
mm, non so, un bacio in fronte. Esatto, vedremo lo Scottex, compreremo lo Scottex con occhi diversi. Sono Basita, adesso vi saluto. E più tardi c'è ancora un'altra demo di Citrix qua, poi faccio ancora un salto, sono qua tutto il tempo oggi praticamente, sto stoccarizzando, che questo è davanti lo stand di Tommaso, sono sempre qua. Vabbè, Is the New Black, mamma mia, lui è un bimbetto, che giovane, giovane, giovane. Quando l'ho visto la prima volta credevo che aveva forse 16 anni, cioè, non so. I don't know. Va bene, ci vediamo tra poco. Il prossimo passo adesso mi porto su alla We Are Memory Keepers, quindi poi da lì se mi fanno una demo, se c'è qualcuno insomma, che mi fa vedere qualcosa sulla Eternal Sync, ci vediamo lì. Sono ordinabili, allora adesso non ho neanche il computer dietro, quindi in realtà non riesco a fare un granché questa sera. Però il lunedì li metto ordinabili e li prendo, sono i mattoncini, sono i foam blocks, li abbiamo già avuti, adesso non ricordo se si chiamano proprio foam blocks, però li posso assolutamente recuperare abbastanza facilmente, non vi preoccupate, poi li metto ordinabili, che meraviglia, cioè, sono rimasta sconvolta. C'è lo Scottex, ok? Gli ho detto una cosa del tipo bisogna guardare le cose con occhi nuovi, no? Con occhi che non le hanno mai viste queste cose, perché io lo Scottex non l'avrei mai preso in considerazione ed è per questo che lui è Simon Hurley ed è lì dietro il banchetto che fa demo e io sono qua che guardo con la mascella disarticolata. Vabbè, ci vediamo dopo.